Hey, welcome back to the channel. Really interesting news week here in Canada. Lots of stuff going on the past few weeks. I don't have time to cover everything because I do hold a regular job and cannot do everything I want when it comes to this kind of stuff. But this I find really interesting. Canada finally went and got around to listing a pro-Palestinian group, Samidoun, as a terrorist entity. Listing comes in joint action with U.S. Treasury. I called this out like a while ago. Samidoun, also known as the Palestinian Prisoner Solidarity Network, has close links with the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine. Both governments said in announcing the move. These groups, they have sham charities. They use charities to get your money, and then they'll funnel it to Hamas and Hezbollah and other real fun groups. We saw some of that over in BC when they're chanting death to Canada and trying to burn our flag. This is the kind of stuff we don't want here, but unfortunately, with our liberal immigration policies, we've allowed it to spread here. We need to learn the lesson of what's going on in the UK, Germany, France, the Netherlands, and up in Sweden. Now, our Public Safety Minister, Dominic LeBlanc, said violent extremism, acts of terrorism, and terrorist financing have no place in Canadian society or abroad. Well, tell that to those idiots in BC and all those pro-Hamas protesters that are still protesting in the streets of Canada. Where's the Emergencies Act? Why do we not use that against them? Use it against Canadian truckers, the trucker convoy. Could call it Wartime Measures Act like Pierre Trudeau did against the FLQ. Same type of thing, because eventually these clowns that are pro-Hamas, pro-Palestinian, pro-Hezbollah, whatever, they're going to get violent, and someone's going to get really hurt and killed. And we'll only have liberal policies to blame. So the U.S. Treasury Department listed Samidoun as a specially designated global terrorist, that it's a sham charity that serves as an international fundraiser for the PFLP. Now, of course, Trudeau opening his mouth too late. He says it's part of our joint work with the U.S. to expose terrorist activities and intercept their financing. Duh! You don't think this was going on like a year ago? All of a sudden, Hamas launches a terrorist raid into Israel and then scurries back to their tunnels with hostages, and we have protests in our streets right away? And of course, it was Poilievre who was urging the Canadian government to ban Samidoun last week when it happened. And he said that Trudeau buckled under pressure from common sense conservatives. I just wish he'd said that Trudeau buckled under pressure from him and the Conservative Party to ban the terrorist group. Now, I don't know why. Who did this article? It doesn't say. For once, it doesn't say who wrote this article. But for some God knows why reason, they always bring this number up. They always tell you the anniversary of Hamas's attack. So they're constantly putting it in there. Killed about 1,200 people in Israel. Doesn't mention how many hostages all of a sudden. And left 41,000 dead in Gaza without knowing how many of those 41,000 dead are actual militants. Remember, and also the civilians are collateral damage simply because they are in the way. The militants hide within the civilian population or under it, and it's hard to dig them out. And I hate to tell you, we killed far more German civilians in World War II than what the Israelis are killing right now in Gaza. The Israelis could kill a lot more if they wanted to. If they really wanted to, they could wipe out the entire city. But they won't. They're not doing any carpet bombing fire raids like Canadian bombers did in World War II. Now, I wish they'd find this unidentified masked woman. I don't know why police and the RCMP weren't going after her right away. Death to Canada while some in the group burned Canadian flags. They should have been followed right away. License plates taken down. Bam, got him. Now, early in the year, Samidoun's international coordinator, Charlotte Cates, who's a real piece of work, was arrested in Vancouver hate crime investigation. She praised the October 7th attacks as heroic and brave. She called the attack a legitimate military operation. Right away, she's giving legitimacy to Israel, because this was a legitimate military operation. Israel struck back in a legitimate military operation. Belli causa, acts of war, the cause of war. Right away, she just, thank you, Charlotte Case, you just gave legitimacy to the Israelis and what they're doing. This chick also went, this chick, like I said, she's a piece of work. She flew to Iran and received a humanitarian award from the Iranian government. So we know which side she's on. And the fact that she's allowed into Canada, her and her husband, how the hell does he slip through the immigration process? This is why liberal, and I don't mean party, I mean like liberal immigration policies are now starting to hurt Canada. And it's going to get worse because we've allowed so many in the past 5 years. So what it means by listing them as a terrorist entity under the criminal code means certain actions related to the group are now illegal, including activities related to financing, travel, and recruitment. Well, what's going to stop these people from just changing their name and their websites and going somewhere else? We should be cracking down right now hard. And these protesters, again, Emergencies Act right away. Wartime Measures Act. But what do we do instead? Oh, Palestinians who fled Gaza to receive financial assistance from Ottawa. My taxpayer dollars are going to a group of people who celebrate the Hamas attack on Israel. More than 4,000 applications have been accepted, but only 334 people have arrived in Canada. Meaning we're bringing them here. Why? Why would I want to bring in people who are very anti-Semitic, meaning they're anti-Israeli, anti-Jewish, they're anti-LGBTQ, they're anti-feminist, and they're anti-Western. They hate the United States and Canada. Why would I allow them here? Why not send them to another Muslim country? Because they don't want them. So, Immigration Minister Mark Miller says Palestinians who fled Gaza will receive transitional financial assistance and support after they arrive in Canada. Really, thank you so much for wasting my money. So they're going to get free money to cover their basic needs such as shelter, food, and clothing. Meanwhile, we got homeless people on our own streets who can't get the same amount. Temporary health coverage for 3 months, settlement services such as language training, and the ability to apply for study and open work permits without fees. Like, why are we doing this to these people? They started a war. Did we do this for any Germans who wanted to escape Nazi Germany? And how long are they going to stay for? Temporary residence visas or permits. How many of these 248 supported Hamas and applauded those attacks? And are they going to still be peaceful? Are they going to be peaceful when they get here, or are they going to join Samidoun? This is not a good idea. But tell that to the liberals who are trying to court the Muslim vote in this country. Again, moving forward, I would slow immigration from Muslim countries to a trickle. Maybe less than 100 per year. Because if we continue the way we are, we're going to have more and more problems like you see for the past year. All these pro-Palestinian protesters. And left-wing nuts like LGBTQ for Palestine, queers for Palestine. That's like chickens for KFC or chickens for Maple Leaf, cows for McDonald's. They're going to be a problem and they will not assimilate. Any Canadians out there, let me know what you guys think. Should we allow Gazans to receive your taxpayer money and settle in Canada? Was it a good thing to list pro-Palestinian group Samidoun on the terrorist entity? And should we evoke the Emergencies Act against these pro-Hamas gatherings? Leave comments in the comment section. Until next time, this has been the Great White North Report.